It's 2016, just months away from the big election. This has been a very divisive race to the White House. Different candidates are talking about different things, but everybody's talking about the youth vote.
By the way, younger people are the future of this country.
One of the biggest questions I get is from people even a little bit younger than you. They're in college, they're doing well. They have student loans up to the neck.
And I know that young people have been really caught up in Senator Sanders' campaign, and I think that's terrific because the more young people we can bring into the process, particularly into the Democratic primary process, the better.
We drove an entire media narrative through a light, humorous use of social media and through the grassroots. I think the way we win young people is we've got to be relevant. We've got to talk about it, how it impacts our lives. And we've got to use tools to communicate. And to be honest, the number one way we reach young people is through you.
We recently read an article in the Hartford Courant entitled Raising a Mini-Me that states that 65% of the youth voters simply mimic their parents' voting habits when entering the ballot box. Well, if that's true, we wonder if the youth vote really matters. We asked friends with politically active parents.
And I plan to, as I was growing up, to make sure my kids understood the difference between the parties so that hopefully they would follow on my path.
Yes, I believe that my parents' political views will influence me on my future voting because being brought up, my parents taught me a certain way, and the people that they vote for go with what they believe and what shapes their lifestyle.
We asked the average person on the streets.
I feel as though their social group mostly impacts their way of voting. Because I know, speaking for a friend, their parent is voting for Hillary Clinton, but they're going to be voting for Bernie Sanders because they've met the struggle of trying to go to school, go to work, and like have all of these things to do at once, and they can't quite make it. So they understand the struggle as their parents, not quite. And yeah, so no, I
don't know. I think kids, they look up to their parents and the choices they make. So obviously, whatever their parents decide, they probably think it's the right choice. So they'll lean more towards that.
I see it with the way this voting thing going this year. It seemed like it's a joke to me.
We even asked our most supportive local politicians about their views on the power of the youth vote.
The youth vote really does matter. It's a huge portion of especially our constituency here in New Britain. I like to credit myself getting elected for a lot of younger people who are between 18 and 30 really coming out to vote who had never voted for certain positions before. The youth of this country have a huge opportunity to make a difference in the upcoming elections. If more of us, and I put myself in that category too because I am not 30 yet, if more of us paid attention, if more of us got out to vote, if more of us exercised our rights and did our homework, we could certainly influence a lot of elections for the better to elect candidates that represent more of what our generation thinks.
If the millennial population, if they all get out and go to the polls, which they should, I believe that they will be the largest block, larger than the baby boomers, larger than senior citizens, larger than any other block of voters. I stress to my friends all the time, as a millennial, every single year is an election year, not just every 4 years, every year. This year everyone's paying attention because you got Trump and Bernie and Hillary and all these other guys, and that kind of drives the conversation. But in the next year, it'll be congressional races. As a matter of fact, this year is a congressional race. Next year as well, it's going to be a municipal election. Every single year is an election year, so it's important for the young people to get out to vote because of the voting power that you have, regardless of what political affiliation you align yourself with. Another thing too that the millennial generation should bear in mind: just because your parents, come up Democrat or your parents come up Republicans, once you start to get involved, you get your first job, you're engaged in the workforce, you start paying taxes, you start paying rent or a mortgage and whatnot, you realize your views on things of certain government programs or what have you, or corporate programs might change. Your view of the world changes once you're a part of the quote-unquote real world.
Even after all the encouragement to think otherwise, when we ask ourselves, the general consensus was this:
the youth vote isn't important. Nobody cares about us.
Because I feel like they don't play a big part in the decisions older people make.
Because I feel like our vote isn't important.
Is the youth vote important?
I don't think so.
Okay. I will vote, but I don't think my vote's gonna matter.
Why?
I feel like we're not a big part of the society, and society could care less about us.
Because we're youths, and like we always get like overrun or whatever, overruled by like adults because they supposedly know what they're doing.
I would not vote because I don't feel like one person's vote matters. No, because the adults are making all the decisions for us.
We've heard the power of the youth vote may add fresh ideas and new perspective to the ongoing conversation about the future of our country. But we are the future, and some of us still don't believe our vote matters. So we ask you now, does that say more about us or more about the system we feel has left us behind?
Youth have no say in this economy. They don't listen to us anyways.
Alright, so do you think youth votes are important?
No.
We may not all agree, we may not all feel empowered, but the power of the youth is the power to change, and change is the power of the unaffiliated.
I mean, if you have a say to change something, you should do it, because the more people, the change happens.
I think the youth vote is important because it will all affect us in the long run, and it's important for each and everyone to have the chance to vote and have a say in it.
Yes, I do plan on voting. I'm actually voting tonight at my local school. I do think the youth's vote is important because I do think the youth play a huge role in society. Although many of us or many youth think we don't play a big role in society, I do think we do because we're the next future leaders of America.